here. I've got Phalon Reacts joining me to my right. To on the bottom there is Mr. Tony ToneDef, my co-host. We're waiting for It's a Vase Productions, but we want to get things started. How is everybody this evening?
Fucking dandy.
Excellent. That's good.
Tired.
Tired.
busy.
You're a fucking beast. Like you do game streams, you do videos, you do a lot of like the retweeting and stuff for the Fandom Collective.
Mhm.
If I wasn't if I didn't want to take my hat's off to you, Fallon, for that because you do a shitload for the community. So look what he's doing to your dog, I say. That's no more locked doors. I told you I'm paranoid and shit, Holmes. But yeah, so thank you for everything that you do, Fallon. Oh, there he is. This guy. I've been waiting for this guy.
Salvador.
What's up, you sexy metal bastard, you?
Says the stream is bad. You should feel bad.
Gaming Vulture. What's up, Gaming Vulture? That is a new subscriber that just he just subbed today. So hail to you, sir. I subscribed back and yeah, I'll be checking out some of your content here. I've been today was a freaking busy day. There was the news cycle for the lack of movies and releases there are coming out mainstream Hollywood here. There is a lot of news coming out, and some of the news was about this. About you can see that Dune. Yes, these are Dune edibles. These are not sponsored by the movie in any way, but they're delicious. So I just took two of them. I keep doing that. I forget to peel them apart. Anyway, so we have a great show. Now we're going to talk about Marvel a little bit, which I want to talk about it here because the videos don't really get the traction because nobody really wants to hear about the MCU. That's delicious. And the thumbnail tonight is kind of a shot at the MCU stands that I deal with because I subscribe to some of the bigger Marvel channels. Was it Warren, the Cosmic Wonder, Everything Always, and they're and I understand why they're kind of like the yes men of YouTube for Marvel, and that's fine. I'm not going to go out and try to punch up at a 700,000 subscriber channel, when I'm sitting down here at 336. But
I will.
I mean, I kind of will because like whenever I leave a comment, it's like I'm not just gonna be like, oh yes, I'm so excited to see fucking I'm like, no man, I'm like, look, I'm like, why are you even doing this? Like, what is there a point to this? In with the news today that they pushed the entire fucking slate back again. They delayed Black Widow until next May. They're releasing, was it Shang-Chi is getting released in July, I think it is. And then you've got the other one that nobody gives a shit about, the Eternals. That's coming out in November. And then they're going to have Falcon and the Winter Soldier late that year too. And they but you're still going to get WandaVision this year, which I'm all right with because I was one of the first. Like I was so excited when they announced WandaVision because I freaking love Wanda Maximoff. I mean, most of it's Elizabeth Olsen. I'm not going to lie, but the character's badass. Like she's like one of the most badass, like powerful superheroes in the MCU, and I dig her. I dig the character, man. And Vision is awesome. Paul Bettany does a phenomenal job. And I would love to have Paul Bettany, like, and they always ask you who would narrate your life. I could go through life and have Paul Bettany walking around narrating my life, and I'd be all right with it.
But I'd have the kid from The Sandlot.
The redheaded kid with the freckles?
Yep.
Oh my gosh.
He was in Big Green too.
Yeah.
So I mean, what are you guys' thoughts on this? I mean, is this really like Marvel? Marvel's got its detractors now, and for good reason, because the whole universe is kind of like you've crescendoed, and now it's just like it seems like a downhill slide, and they're trying to say no, it's not. But those of us who are in the know are like, it kind of is.
I think it's the reason they are postponing it. I think it's mostly because it's worse in Disney than they've said. I think it's they can't afford to release all those movies at once because it would hurt them more than they are hurting now.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the whole deal. I don't think there's anything wrong with the films. Last I heard about what was it, Shang-Chi or the Four Rings movie?
Yeah,
that one they're still filming.
Yeah.
So I'm like, shouldn't you push that one back and make sure Black Widow? Because if they released Black Widow, then there you go. You would have a movie that people have been waiting on. They would want to watch it, and you would have butts in the seats.
Yeah. See, but that's the thing is like, is there even any? And I had a hair on my thing. I'm a mic that was killing me. My cat was in here. Bastard. Is anybody really even excited to see Black Widow at this point? To me, it's just like, oh, look, it's the next New Mutants.
No. I've actually talked to some people on Tumblr because I do like RPGing and stuff like over there, and I have friends who are really into the X-Men, the Marvel Universe, and all this other stuff. They're excited about it.
Yeah.
I guess you could say the quote-unquote normies or hardcore movie fans.
Kind of
they're excited about it.
The MCU stands, the ones that just defend it no matter what.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Now, I'm still, like I said, there's still some things I'm looking forward to. Like, I want to see the Fantastic Four done right. Now, I say,
amen.
It's like, and I'm not going to go back and beat up the existing, not Josh Trank, not Fan Four Stick, but the Jessica Alba and that. I mean,
I like the Fox. I like the.
I thought they were good.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, same. I'll still watch them. They didn't age horribly. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I liked all of those people, and I kind of wish they would bring them back, but they might be a little bit old for it, especially Eoin Grufford, who played Mr. Fantastic. You can tell he's aged since then. So.
But they're talking about, and I've heard this for years too, that the Fantastic Four might take place in the 60s or 70s, and then something happens where they're brought to modern times. But I mean, having a little age on them might not be the worst thing, just depending on how they write them into the story. If they were to go with those actors, which
which could be caused by Wanda, especially with the whole WandaVision, and it's looked very weird as far as the trailer was. And she was the one, they used her in a comic book where she said, "No more mutants."
That was a House of M.
Yes, it was.
Yep.
And if she can affect the universe that much, it would be easy to write a story with the whole WandaVision, and somehow she brings in, say, the 20th century X-Men in, or a variation of it. You could bring the Fantastic Four from the past. No problem, even if it's in its own little universe. I think there's a number of things they could do with that. I think Wanda makes it easy go to do that, but also they have that Doctor Strange movie coming out. I don't know when that one's coming out.
I hope they don't mess that up, because that's what I'm looking forward to, and I'm rooting for Black Widow to be good. I really hope it is. I keep hearing.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry, man.
Well, I was just for Black Widow, I keep hearing Winter Soldier light, and I hope it's as good as Winter Soldier, but in its own right, I hope it's not compared too much to it when it comes out, but Doctor Strange 2 is what I was really looking forward to, because I like Elizabeth Olsen, and knowing she's going to be in it, I think her and Benjamin Cumberbatch make an interesting pair, and I was just hoping they don't do anything to mess it up until it comes out. And I believe Sam Raimi's directing it now too, which puts a whole new twist on everything. And
that's the thing with Raimi directing that is like, but then you still got Kevin Feige, the Overlord, and it's like, what exactly is he going to let Raimi do? I mean, if he let Raimi have the movie, it would be bad as fuck. I'll guarantee that. Like, and they're already talking about some like insane cameos for like Tom Cruise as Iron Man. You know, it's like, well, if you've been paying attention to the news cycles, Tom Cruise in 1998, I believe it was. I want to say it was Tom Connors was covering this. It was somebody from Midnight's Edge. I want to say it was Tom, but they were talking about in 98, Cruise wanted to do Iron Man. That was like, he was trying to get it up off the ground, and it never happened. Thank God. Because I mean, I'm sorry, I couldn't buy a 5'3" Iron Man jumping up on a couch yelling about Katie Holmes. No, I like rehab Robert Downey Jr. Iron Man. Seriously, no, but it's like there's supposed to be a lot of like crazy like cameos and stuff like that in it, and I'm looking forward to it. I like that. The first Doctor Strange, I had to watch it 2 or 3 times, and it kind of grew on me. And to go back to what Phalon was speaking about with the Fantastic Four, now the thing with the Fantastic Four is what I believe they're going to do, and this all goes back to Ant-Man 3, and the speculation that Ant-Man 3 is going to be a mini Avengers movie because the quantum realm is going to be the key to, I believe, the Fantastic Four. If they do something really cool like this, and the Fantastic Four have been in the quantum realm, say they have to go visit. Now,
okay, I see what you're going. I see where you're going.
Yeah.
I'm really liking this. That maybe back in the 60s, 70s, they were trapped there.
Yep.
And then they have to be pulled out.
Yep.
And it may not just be the Fantastic Four. It could be any number of like the 20th century superheroes, like the X-Men.
Yep.
They could introduce X-Factor, any number of the superhero groups from the comics, because I really like that idea.
Or Luke Skywalker. No.
Oh shit! Oh, it's okay. Sal, Paramount wanted Cruise originally.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And Favreau had to fight for Robert Downey Jr., I believe. Yep. Yeah.
Should we hope the third time will be the charm for the Fantastic Four? Yeah, Gaming Vulture, absolutely. Like I said, I enjoyed the first one. They were sent in to rescue Wasp and got stuck. See, that's what I'm thinking. Is if they went that quantum realm route with it, ROADS. I don't know. I think it's ROADS, isn't it? Isn't it
I was checking the specs on the end line for the rotary girder. I'm retarded.
But seriously, so I think that would work out though if they had to go into the quantum realm, because you've got Ant-Man, Wasp, Pym. They go into the quantum realm and they pull the Fantastic Four out, and this is kind of where Kang comes in, because Kang is rumored to be the villain in Ant-Man 3, because they just cast I can't even remember the guy's name, because I really didn't know who the hell he was, but they cast the and they made him black, and now people are they going to make the Fantastic Four black because Nathaniel Richards, aka Kang, 31st century time traveling villain, he's a descendant of them. Well, I mean, think about it. The 31st century. I mean, a lot of things take place between.
That's 1,000 years.
Yeah. So it's like the family tree could be changed. It doesn't have you don't necessarily have to race swap the Fantastic Four now. But to me, it really doesn't matter. I mean, Kang is like purple anyway. I mean, he is. He's like purple and like green or whatever. I mean, I have the action figure from '84 from the Secret Invasion line with him and Doctor Doom still. But no, I mean, it doesn't really matter to me, if you race swap Kang, I don't care. It doesn't mean you have to race swap the Fantastic Four. Please don't do that, though. I mean, and I've said this, Michael B. Jordan as the Human Torch in Fan Four Stick was not terrible. The writing of that movie was utter shite. Like everything about like, Dr. Doom's origin, I was watching that, I'm going, ooh, you sweet summer child. You did not. Like, that's what you did with like, really? That's not how Dr. Doom got his goddamn powers. Some of the bitches. Fucking Josh Trank. I was like, this
now y'all mentioned about the first Fantastic Four movie that they brought out, and I wouldn't mind seeing that Dr. Doom again because I like that actor.
Who was that?
Oh crap! Not
somebody
Julian. I'm gonna have to look it up.
Yeah, somebody look that one up. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Who's good?
Can I pose a question to you guys?
Absolutely.
Sure.
Does the MCU need a Daryl?
Like Daryl Dixon?
Yeah.
From The Walking Dead. I was just watching the episode The Cell. It's fucking one of my favorite episodes. Yeah. Who would be the Daryl of the MCU though? I mean,
well, that's what I mean. Who is Daryl in the comics?
Are you talking? You're talking the Walking Dead comics?
Yeah, who's Daryl in the Walking Dead comics?
Dwight is basically Daryl in the comics because Daryl doesn't exist in the comics.
Yeah, and that's what. Yeah. So does the MCU maybe need an original character to help kind of fill? I don't know. I don't want to say fill that gap with Iron Man gone now, but I mean, would that maybe benefit the MCU? Because I mean, I just got to say overall, I mean, it's interesting to talk about how the Fantastic Four may come in or the X-Men, but I mean, to be real too, and it may not be a popular opinion, and I want to see them in the MCU, but it's not like we haven't seen it before, and it would be nice to see something maybe original, and it would give them greater flexibility. I think having maybe an original character created for the MCU.
Valid point.
You know,
and the name we were looking for was Julian McMahon.
Julian McMahon. All right.
McMahon.
That's I was doing that Monday night. I had to do my Vince impression a couple times because we were talking about who you put certain people over, and Jennifer was like, because she's built, she was like, I got mad when they made me put these like model girls over because it's like they can't even fight, because we were talking about believability, and this kind of correlates to the MCU. We were talking about the superheroes being believable, and I want to go kind of and talk about She-Hulk for a moment, because you've got that Tatiana Maslany, I believe her name is. And she, like, I pulled that up and I showed Jennifer the picture, and she was like, that's She-Hulk? I'm like, honestly, yeah. I was like, I picture, even in like Berserker She-Hulk form, which now She-Hulk basically looks like Hulk with long hair. Like the images I've seen of her making out with Thor, I'm like, ugh. Like, I mean, hey, if Hulk and Thor were gay, I'll Seinfeld it. Not that there's anything wrong with that. I mean, but do I really want to see Hulk and Thor making out when
there is something wrong with Hulk and Thor making?
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with being gay, but I mean,
no, Hulk and Thor, I just don't need to see that. Like,
there's some hetero couples I don't want to see make out either. So.
But Lord. Oh wait, Sal said Agent Coulson was created for the movies. Speaking of which, I don't ever remember seeing Coulson in a comic book. So, yeah.
He eventually was moved over to comics, like they did with Darcy, because she wasn't even in the comics before.
See, and people loved Agent Coulson, and well, what should we do? Kill him.
And then you really piss off everyone.
Yep. And they're like, oh, we brought him back. Psych, he wasn't really dead.
And it's like, well, now it's just stupid.
Yeah. They're just like, nobody will notice if it's Coulson, right? They won't notice. All right, fuck it, we'll do it. They're like, they did it. It'll be fine.
It's like, why did you kill him off so he can have his own show? It's like, I mean...
I'm sorry, hang on. Daryl didn't exist for the show because Norman Reedus auditioned for Merle, and they didn't give him Merle. They gave it to Michael Rooker, and then they're like, well, wait. We want to work with you, Norman. We love you. Let's make a character for you, and that's where Daryl came from. Yep. Absolutely, sweet. Man. I was fine with him. I was fine with him dying, bringing him back for the shitty show, removed all the... Yes. Yeah, because that was a huge moment when Loki fucking killed him.
Yeah.
You're like, oh my God. Like, Coulson just like really...
He was in Thor and Iron Man 2.
Yep.
It removed the amount of impact it had. It's like everybody's safe, nobody stays dead. Well, we know that in the comics that nobody stays dead. There's always some way. But if you want to really hit the fans where it hurts the most, you gotta leave them dead.
Yeah. You can't fucking be like, oh no, sorry, just because people complained about it, we have to bring them back. I mean, I don't want to see my favorite characters die, but at the same time, I understand that they're gonna fucking die. Like, you know, it just had like Iron Man. I don't want to see fucking Iron Man die. You know, I want to see him ride off into the sunset. You know, but it was time. You know, he had to go. So be it.
Kind of like, imagine like Captain America has an amazing story. Like, we all thought you were dead. You were trapped in the ice for so many years.
Yep.
And then it's like nobody's like, Coulson, he just got a hole blasted in his sternum like 3 days ago when he was leading a SHIELD team. Like fuck Captain America. Like,
look at Nick Fury just bought me a flying car. I don't even think I made it through the first season of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Oh yeah, I don't think I made it through the first episode.
I'm gonna go back. I'm watching. Okay, so right now I'm watching Daredevil. I'm into season 2 of that, and God, is that show fucking good, man. We're gonna talk about Charlie Cox in a little bit though, but I'm watching Daredevil. I'm watching Melrose Place again. I'm watching Lost. I'm watching Walking Dead, and of course there's always Seinfeld in The Office going in there somewhere. But no, man, Daredevil is so good. Holy shit. They cannot cast anybody else to play Matt Murdock. I'm sorry. It's just like the whole cast of that show was great. D'Onofrio, and I don't know the actor who plays Foggy Nelson. Him and what's her name, Karen, that works in the office. She was their first client. You know, that cast is it's so good.
Yeah. I know a lot of people love the whole Elektra storyline. But honestly, if you take the Elektra storyline out, it's kind of better.
Yeah.
Because she didn't really have that much of an impact. Yes, he about killed someone with her death, and the Punisher always said, "You're a bad day away from becoming me."
Mm-hmm.
I think that was one of the best friendships between those two.
Yeah.
I love Foggy and Matt's friendship, though Foggy he has issues trying to deal with what Matt has to do. Because if you can hear all that, especially during the first episode where he literally beats that guy that had been hurting his daughter.
Yeah.
I was like, he should have beat him to death.
Yep. Yeah.
But he never kills anyone, but he does gravely harm them.
Yes. So Uncle Ben, Martha, and Thomas Wayne, Gwen Stacy, and Elektra were all untouchable at one point, and that they stayed dead. The last 20 years undid all that. It's a huge controversy. Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. That's hail to thee, Flare X. How you doing, sir? So I like the Punisher storyline better.
Yes.
The Punisher. See, I'm because he comes into Daredevil in season 2, isn't it?
Yes, around the same time as the whole Elektra, but it got so convoluted having those two storylines kind of colliding.
There's Vase. All right, man. So we'll see you in a little bit then, bro. You can jump. Yeah, you got the link in your DMs. Just jump in when you get a chance. I'll add you in. Yeah, I'm looking. Like I said, I'm looking forward to getting to the Punisher angle and seeing that all that kind of unfold. Because I watched, like I said, me and my wife sat there and watched like the part of the first season of the Punisher, and we just got bit, and we didn't end up going back to it. You know, it's kind of like Umbrella Academy. We started watching it one night. We were drunk. I'm like, we cannot focus on the show drunk. It's not going to happen. So I got to go back and revisit that. But yeah, there's a lot of good shows that I'm like trying. It's like ones I've seen a lot, and it's, you know, I'm watching like Lost and Walking Dead. I'm watching again. Let's see, Daredevil season 2 equals Punisher season 1. Punisher season 1. Season 2, Punisher season 2 completely skippable. You know, I've heard that about Punisher, and that's in what's the other one? Iron Fist. Iron
Fist was so slow and boring.
Yeah,
I think they could have written it better. Also, they filmed all these shows in the same area, which they're supposed to be in different areas of New York. So it's kind of like, really? Because they're supposed to have it, even in the comics, it shows just how rich the culture is.
Yeah.
But Netflix couldn't handle that.
Netflix can't handle anything.
I heard, I don't know if this is true, that Disney is going to be putting the Netflix Marvel shows on Hulu. I'm hoping it's true, because then I can go back and watch those shows, because I won't watch them on Netflix.
See, I have Netflix, but I don't pay for it. Neither do I. I don't pay for Hulu either. So I have access to both of those whenever I want, and that's, like I said, I've been watching them on there. I have Disney. I do pay. Well, I'm still in my free year of Disney Plus, but I'm going to do a paid membership of that, because I have to see The Mandalorian. I mean, I'm not gonna.
I feel you on that.
And for what is it, $7-8 a month? I mean, I don't pay for any other streaming.
I think so, somewhere around there.
I'm not paying for the premium video on demand. I'm not doing that. What's this?
I've got I have like Amazon Prime, because sometimes they have some good stuff. I need to watch like The Boys, because I heard it's really good but very violent.
Yeah, I don't have. Why does it look like I have a green screen on my shirt? It's weird.
Because you've got. I think you have the. Let me see. I think I know where that is.
It's in the settings under camera. I don't have the.
You've got the green screen on. You've got to make sure the none is closed.
There it is.
Part of your head is missing.
There it is. I'm like, what the hell, man? I mean, I'm stoned, but I mean, Jesus. Yeah, $6.99 a month for Disney. Sal says Defenders was just as bad too. Yeah, I've heard Defenders is completely skippable. Let's see, $6.99 a month. Yeah, I'll pay for Disney Plus.
Oh, that's not bad.
No, because
as much as we crap on Disney, they still have a lot of good content.
Because they bought everything.
That is true.
David Tennant's the only good part. David Tennant, that was one of the doctors, wasn't he? Like the 10th?
He was the 10th Doctor.
See, I have a lot of friends who are Whovians. I've watched 2 episodes, and they've both been the Jodie Whittaker thing, which is.
Oh, yeah. You poor soul.
I was like, because I listen. I don't watch the show, but I listen to Gary from Nerdrotic review it.
Okay.
He's
if you want to watch the new Doctor Who, ignore Jodie. Go back and watch Christopher Eccleston. He is awesome. He's hilarious. He's only there for 1 season, though.
All right. Because see, I get a lot of Eccleston and Tennants are the ones that everybody says are good. I don't. I don't have. Like I said, I don't have a horse in the race, but yeah, I watched 2 episodes of the Jodie Whittaker one. I'm like, this is just bad. Like it's just bad TV. Like it's not entertaining. Like there's nothing about her that's redeeming. I don't want to get off on a Doctor Who tangent, but I mean it's just. We got there. Because
it says start with season 9 and go up to Peter Capaldi. I'm gonna see which series.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I like I said, I just after listening to Gary talk about it, I'm like, I want to see how bad this is. And I just like I said, I watched the first 2. Well, the premiere was a 2-parter. I watched that, and then I watched the 3rd episode. I'm like, ooh, yeah, I'm done. And I listened to Drinker like review the finale, the Timeless Child, and all that, and I was like, oh, why? They like basically retconned the entire history of the show.
Basically, yeah. Though one of my friends who's a big reader of all books, Doctor Who, and I think BBC made a mistake when they did that, because they literally made all books canon and all stuff canon, because one guy said that there is a well-accepted theory that the Doctor is not even Time Lord. He's more like, oh crap, what is that monster that looks like an octopus and causes people to go insane?
Cthulhu?
Yes, they said they think he's related to him.
Oh. So it's tying in with Lovecraft then.
Yes, they said he's what a lot of people think he is a very Lovecraftian creature.
Okay. Well, that's actually the guy that's playing Kang the Conqueror is in that show Lovecraft Country. Mm-hmm. That's what he's best known for, I believe. So, but I've never seen that. And speaking of off the wall shows, did you see Watchmen won like 11 Emmys the other night? I think it was, or something ridiculously stupid like that.
I didn't watch it, but that doesn't surprise me.
I didn't watch it
Emmys
either.
are stupid.
Lowest rating Emmys ever.
Yes, it said it was down by 33%.
Lowest rated. Yep.
Yeah, I think it was. I watched. What's his name? John Talks did a video about that the other day. There he is. What's up, Vase?
Vase with the most awesome sunglasses ever.
Yep. the Thug Life Ben Shapiro glasses. I love those, man.
I derive most of my power from these glasses.
Vase is a literal meme.
I love it.
Welcome, sir. Welcome.
Glad to be here.
We were we got off on a Doctor Who tangent somehow because I think Sal brought up David Tennant being in Jessica Jones because we were kind of talking about Marvel and we were just kind of running through the characters, and before that we were talking about the actress cast as She-Hulk. That Tatiana Maslany, and like she was in that show Orphan Black, which I've heard good things about. I don't know, never watched it.
I think most episodes she played up to 7 characters an episode.
That's impressive. That is damn impressive.
She got she did get an Emmy for that.
Okay.
So she should be able to handle 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like I said, man, my guest Monday night, Jennifer was kind of like, she's like, well, if she's playing She-Hulk, shouldn't she have just at least a little bit of muscle on her, like a little bit? I mean,
give her time.
That's part of the dichotomy though between Bruce Banner. That's part of the thing that makes the Hulk such a holy crap. That guy's the Hulk is that he's unassuming.
But Jennifer Walters was green most of the time in the comics, and she was always kind of in She-Hulk form. I mean, she was like 7 foot tall.
And that's the question of how they're playing this character. How are they gonna be playing like she's in court as She-Hulk? Like I object. That.
Honestly, I think they're going to do what they always do for any time an actor or actress plays a character like this. They're going to push them really hard as far as physique. Look at Chris Evans before he played Captain America, and he's pretty buff.
Yeah, he was built. He was built in Captain America.
So I honestly think that she'll have to do a whole lot of work to get in shape for it.
And also to back you up on that, the guy from the Eternals, what's his name?
Oh, Kumail Nanjiani.
Yeah. Did you see his jacked photo? It's like, hey, Marvel workout. It's like, oh, that's that dude from the nerd shows.
Yeah, he was skinny as fuck before, and now, dude, I saw it. I was like, holy shit! Dude got yoked the fuck out. I was like, God. But and I'd like to see that. I want to see, like I said, I mean, you can make her, go like Berserker Hulk form. Obviously, that's CGI, but I mean, a little practical effect here and there. I mean, it's not bad in its attention to detail to me. Like I said, because Jennifer was. I mean, I think I got a She-Hulk book down there. I mean, shit, she's green in court.
How far down the line is that show? Is that after Multiverse of Madness?
I believe so. You're talking probably 2023 for that one.
Because that right there, first of all, WandaVision leading into that, we're going to have multiverse issues come into play. We're going to have how are they going to introduce the mutants into the... Well, if I had to take a random stab in the dark, I'd say the freaking Multiverse of Madness and the side effects of whatever Scarlet Witch is going through right now, all that combining into, hey, look at this rebooted Marvel universe now. Because this is everything right now, they're rebuilding. Maybe the second half of this phase will be the new actual phase, but most of what they're doing right now is rebuilding, combining the stuff they just got with Fox, and that's where maybe by the time that her show comes out, we're going to be in a different, maybe more accepting place. Where in the MCU right now, if there was a green chick trying to, you'd have people out to get her. She couldn't just work in a court of law. But maybe after, mutants and everything are in the world. Yeah. Now we're talking about a much more accepting, even if there's still a lot of resistance against it, at least there's a whole culture of these people and not just, the Avengers. Right now in the MCU, if you have superpowers, you're in the Avengers. Yep. With mutants everywhere, it's maybe not. Maybe just that kid in the X-Men who had the weird tongue. That was it. He stuck his tongue out and it was a forked tongue. That was an X-Men too. So you're going to have all different levels of this, and I think that's a great element to include. And I'm excited to see, frankly, that's what I'm most excited to see is like, how are they going to incorporate the X-Men into this? And are you actually going to do something with it? Like something cool. Because there's a huge opportunity there.
It terrifies me to see.
I know that too.
I do, because it's like I do it. Like I said, me and my son are watching the '90s X-Men cartoons right now, and it's like I fucking love those. I love the Fox X-Men movies. I mean, there's some bad ones, but I mean, still, dude, like they took chances. It's like they weren't afraid to take a chance. Like Marvel's like, well, we better not do that. We got to play it safe because we got our core audience. It's like. And I think Tony and I were talking about this earlier. When we were talking on the phone, it was like, they refuse to take a chance. It's like you have so many things you can do, and yet you stay in your wheelhouse because it's like, well, if this doesn't make $1 billion, it's a failure. It's like not every movie is going to make $1 billion. Like it's like releasing it's like holding back on Black Widow. It's like this movie is borderline irrelevant now. And I'm saying this is somebody who loves the character and thinks that she deserved a movie, but she deserved it 6 years ago. So that being said, it's like there's something to be said for pushing all these movies back again. And then you're pushing like Guardians. Okay, so what about Guardians of the Galaxy 3? We've been waiting since fucking 2017. And because you fired James Gunn over some old fucking tweets. And I'm not gonna lie, I was when I saw those tweets, I was kind of like, but then to fire the guy, it was like, I mean, unless you have like a criminal, some charges that he's under or investigations pending or indictments, I'm like, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing?
Well, that was like at peak Me Too movement, where it was just like literally people going around just like believe women.
Yep.
And like, I love
my
Bill
God,
Burr.
I hate that.
Bill Burr, I think, had a whole bit about that. One of his specials. He was just like, look, I get it. Like, I get that there are guys, but wait a minute, just believe women, but all women across the board. You have never met a bitch in your entire life. Are you kidding me? Like, that's impossible to me. Like, you got to, and he just goes off on things like, you can't trust all women. You think people are going to start taking advantage of that? I don't know, immediately.
Yeah.
I lost a lot of subs over that when I said, don't believe all women, believe facts, believe evidence. I lost a lot of subscribers that day.
This is a female saying this. She's a female and she's saying this. I mean, what? Yeah, you can't even get mad. It's like, I mean, seriously.
No, what I got told is I'm a misogynist.
Sure. Yeah. Why not?
Well, that's like somebody on my show called Linkle X7, who is black, a white supremacist. I'm just like,
yeah, that's what everybody else is just saying. It's like, what the hell?
We were talking about Black Panther, and he goes, Killmonger was a shitty villain or something like that. And they're like, you're a fucking white supremacist. He goes, literally, no.
Isn't that fascinating, the narrative that they've woven around these movies?
Yep.
I've never seen it anywhere bigger than with like The Last Jedi, but it's definitely still with things like Black Panther and stuff like that. It's like, hey, by the way, if you have anything negative to say about this, that's how we know you're one of the bad people. And it's like, oh, whoa, Roots didn't get to say that. What the fuck?
You know what I see a lot is people say Killmonger did nothing wrong. I'm like, he murdered his girlfriend in cold blood.
Yeah.
Like, that stands for something. I mean,
and he wanted to, I mean, the whole plan.
Yeah.
He was like, now, first of all, everyone's praising like Wakanda when they start like reaching out. I'm like, you realize the fake history that they wrote for this is that they're not really heroes. They've been isolationists for many years. Like when people were chaining up slaves or whatever, and those damn colonizers. I remember when the movie came out, they were like, "Take that, colonizers!" And I was like, the Wakandans watched those people do that. And they had laser beams and spaceship, and they was like, "You're not getting none of this, though."
Yeah, they were just sitting back going, "We got all the vibranium." You know,
look at that for thousands of years. When the other people just had muskets, you had vibranium. What the fuck? And they're like, "You're
down with no exceptions, like Negan." I mean, but you didn't. You just sat back and you're like, "Look, we have rhinos that we've weaponized."
And that was the other thing. It was like, "Hey, let's hybridize because let's take traditional African culture." Absent the colonizers, and also combine it with future, technology, stuff like that. Except that doesn't mesh because when technologies like that come into play, you don't just Why would you have spears?
You don't live in a mud hut.
Let's have spears that shoot things because we're still wielding spear. It's like, no, what scientist is like just to look like traditional, we're gonna forgo whatever design it should take and put it in the form of a spear.
By that logic, we should have rocks that shoot lasers.
Exactly. Like what?
Can I have one of those?
I want my pet rock that shoots lasers.
And so, like, when the rhinos come in, it's like, you're telling me how much vibranium did we see getting shipped left, right, and all over this place? They have so much. Make a couple of hover bikes.
Yeah.
Impenetrable vibranium shields like the suit that you just made. If you could make a suit for one guy, and you could clearly make another one because there were 2 identical suits in that, why don't you put that technology into anything more useful for not only all of your people, which seems like some of them still live in like dusty huts.
They do.
Which I don't get.
They're still fucking farmers. I'm like, you have why are you living in mud huts?
It doesn't make any sense.
You have fucking
give them a vibranium house.
Those little balls that Chala dropped out of the air and disabled the engines of those trucks at the beginning of the movie. You have that, but you have people living in huts still. Because why? Because
they have jets on the bottom.
If anything, that makes me more, now I'm kind of on Killmonger's side. Like, how much are they hoarding this? Your government of Wakanda is hoarding this resource, and they're not even using it for anything. No. Alien attacks New York, and they're threatening to blow up the entire world. We don't hear anything. The first time we hear anything from them is when they're like we've decided to reach out. Yeah. And then that's in Civil War. It's like, we've decided, hey, we're now deciding to branch out into the world, and it's like, oh, good for you. Wait.
Oh yeah, and they're being judgmental and trying to control like what Americans do.
Oh, it's hilarious, and that's the whole point. Like at the end with Killmonger's, like, you haven't been doing anything for all these people, and Black Panther's like, I'm gonna set it right, and it's like, so we're gonna start a community outreach center in Oakland, and it's like, you Wakanda are surrounded by impoverished African countries. I get that the director's from Oakland, but what message are you sending? Let's go to America and help their Black people. Like, what?
You do realize that your continent is like poor, and there's a lot of bad health, and there's still a human trafficking going on there and stuff like that. But you're gonna come to Oaktown, huh? All right, man.
Can I pose a question to you guys real quick? So the Wakanda technology, can that exist without an internet connection? Imagine the vehicle that they're driving, right?
They have better internet. They have vibranium.
So why didn't Ultron go there for his vibranium?
Oh, he couldn't have taken them on. No, he had to try and destroy the world without them knowing it.
Yeah, he could have been.
They would have taken him down. Oh, one guy made of vibranium.
No, they wouldn't have taken him down. They would have had that shield around their country and then let everybody else die.
Yeah, the world would have been reduced to just a bunch of cosmic dust, and then one spire of the Earth is left with just a shield around it. It's Wakanda. Wakanda forever.
Couldn't he have put himself into the rhinos or something and fucking something
out in the rhino's ass?
Yeah. The fact that they've existed like that for so long just goes to show it's like, you have that stuff. The world's almost ended multiple times. Like, what? Yeah. What were your any thoughts on that? Or you were just like, I'm sure they'll figure it out. We can't risk letting people know.
Yeah, we don't want to know we're here. Yeah,
I'm sorry, Pete, but all I can think about now is Ultron squeezing out of a rhino like Jim Carrey.
Somebody needs to deep fake that. Ultron fucking climbing out of the rhino's ass. It's got to be James Spader's voice too. I've got no strings on me as he's climbing out.
Oh, that's nasty.
I have a project to do later on tonight. Oh shit, that would be fucking greatness though, man. You see fucking Ultron climbing out of a rhino's ass in Jurassic World, and a bunch of kids like Owen Grady comes running up. He's like, oh shit, wait, I'm supposed to be Star-Lord.
It's like, I'm gonna reach out and gently pet you, Ultron.
This is gonna be like J.J. Abrams the third reboot status. Like,
Why you gotta go there?
Somehow there's lens flares and fucking the Enterprise makes its way in. Here comes Picard. You hear an old lady look at Picard and just say sheer fucking hubris, and Patrick Stewart tucks his tail and runs.
Then there's a Beastie Boys song. That'll work for the general audience.
Okay, you gotta admit, when they put on those songs, it always really helped the scene.
I liked it in the first one when he was in the car, because I was like, cool. In like the last movie that they made, when he's like, "This is how we'll defeat them. I'll turn on Beastie Boys and we'll make a tidal wave." Get it? It's Star Trek.
But it wasn't Abrams for that one. He didn't write that one or had any
signed off on it.
I wasn't talking about Abrams in that case. I don't care. Whoever made that was just shameful.
That was the actor that played Scotty.
Oh, come on, not really.
It is, yes.
Simon or whatever?
Yeah.
Oh, Simon Pegg.
Pegg.
Simon Pegg from Shaun
That's
of the
a damn
Dead.
shame. I expect better from him. Although maybe I was just, expecting him to be as good as the director that actually directed all of his movies that were good.
Hey, at least he would call out he called out The Last Jedi, one of the few.
Yeah. One of the few, one of the brave.
Only because JJ's his boy, but
yeah, and he was like, "What the it's so funny. Oh my gosh, it's just so ridiculous that it like when the news broke that like Daisy Ridley was like, yeah, there wasn't really a plan, and then you see all these people are like, could you believe it? There wasn't a plan, and like we're all just looking around like we've been saying this and crucified for it since the Last Jedi.
We really need that video right now.
Which one?
Where the guys look at Travolta's just looking around.
Oh, you mean this one? This was us after the Daisy Ridley now.
Don't you know I'm loco?
It's like where have you been? Like,
all you have to do is watch the first two movies to know there wasn't a fucking plan.
My gosh. Yep. And I learned the word for it. I'm actually working on a video. Well, I don't even know if I'm going to make it, but that's what I'm telling you about it right now. But it's literally, have you ever heard of the game called Exquisite Corpse or An Exquisite Corpse?
Mm-mm.
It's a drawing game. It's like an artist game. I learned it when I was in film school. And basically it's like kind of like telephone, like, you know how one person like says something and then someone else picks it up, but instead like this is one person starts drawing a body or something, they start drawing something, and then you have someone else take the middle part, and they can do whatever they want in a different style or whatever. They just have to like connect it to the first, and then the third person comes in and does something completely different. It's three different artists, and it's called An Exquisite Corpse because it always looks like crazy and grotesque, but it is like, artistic. And so the title of the video about like, Disney Star Wars is it's like a not even exquisite corpse, because what they did, at least if they had hired someone random as shit to do the last movie, you know what I mean? Like, because Ryan Johnson came and did whatever the fuck he wanted. He was just like, it loosely connects to the first one, but I'm doing my thing. If they had just like brought in a new director and said, do whatever the hell you want, at least then, you still shouldn't have called it like Skywalker Saga. That's bullshit. That's false. You still should have called a bunch of other things, but at least then I could respect your artistic integrity or whatever. You would be like, hey, we were just letting these directors like go nuts, and this is the vision they came up with, and if you don't like it, well, at least it's still art. No, what they did was they were like, oh shit, we screwed up. JJ, can you come back and fix this? And he's like, have you seen the second movie, you idiots? No, I can't, but here's the best shot at it. So instead of An Exquisite Corpse, you have like, here's one thing that's setting up a bunch of stuff, here's one thing that's doing its own thing completely, and here's one that's trying to tie the two together. While you can't do that though, because they're literally conflict with each other, and so it's just a mess. So Disney Star Wars sequels, not An Exquisite Corpse.
So basically what you're saying is this was JJ when he was screening Last Jedi.
You out of your goddamn mind. Son of a bitch!
He was like, you motherfuckers are going to ask me to come back for the third one. I goddamn know it.
And he did. And it's so funny because I have the interview. And this is so crazy. It blows my mind still to this day, because I made the video like before The Rise of Skywalker came out. It was when all that clickbait came out that was like, you remember this? The Last Jedi doesn't derail plans for Rise of Skywalker. And I was like, I'm putting this on Read Between the Lines, because read between those lines. And I found the article that all those, these clickbait articles wrote a whole bunch of stuff based on one line from JJ that said it didn't really derail anything we were doing. I went to the article where that was actually featured, the interview that he gave, and there's paragraphs of him talking about how there's no plan, how there's no script, how there's no sets, there's nothing. And he's like, I'm coming back from like stage 1 and I'm just making this up on the fly. There's nothing ready for this movie to be shot. And I'm just, and then at some point, and then he also talks about Rian Johnson. He says that was a story that he told. And now we're picking up and going. And so I literally said, he said he didn't go the same. The only thing in that article, the entire interview with J.J. Abrams, the director of the final movie, that says it didn't derail was one line when he goes, it didn't really derail anything. And you could tell in the movie that it did. It clearly did. And it's like that came out before the movie came out, but all the clickbait just rolled over people. And you'd see people sharing it. Oh, take that, Last Jedi haters. It didn't derail. Take that. And I'm like, did you read it? Did you? Right. No, clearly you didn't. It's just, and it's, where do these things come from? People don't just suddenly like, I need to, me as just a person who doesn't really, I need to go defend the Rise of Skywalker. No, they're paying for a wave of propaganda. And now that it's over, and like it's like, well, we've made as much money as we can on that. When the stars are coming out and saying this stuff now, there's not waves of, you don't see tons of articles going, Daisy Ridley turns out to be an alt-right troll.
Yeah.
Didn't know, but look what she said. So because of what she said, we now know that she's a misogynist, racist, sexist, and we know this because she brought up a valid criticism of the Star Wars sequels, which we know this. Yep. That means you're bad. So now that, and John Boyega too, another turns out to be enemy. The Russian trolls got to him. Yeah. They invaded his, and it's like, no, I didn't see any of that because all of those things that they were saying were insane then. And they'd be really insane to try and pull off now. But no one's paying them to, so of course.
Yeah.
That was always my favorite defense of The Last Jedi was it was review bombed by Russian bots. I'm like, are you fucking serious? Like, okay, like let's play devil's advocate here for a second. All right. So if a foreign entity wants to interfere in the United States, I can see them interfering in an election, maybe the financial systems, things like that. But here I can just see my cousin Yuri Grabovich sitting over in Kiev going, look, comrades, here's what we do. We're not going to keep advancements in science, even though the other day I invented metal glaze. But look, here's what we do. Heard movie Last Jedi. What we're going to do, look, now follow me. We're going to make memberships on Rotten Tomatoes. Is aggregator site, all right? Here's what we do. We all go at the same time and say, Last Jedi sucks because it has minorities, huh? That would be the best thing to do, huh? We then follow me. We bully the Kelly Marie Tran, the Asian girl. We bully her off Instagram, and then we'll plan B complete. We will rule USA. I mean, that is exactly what the Russians were doing the entire time.
That's how we do it. It's also, you know what's crazy is that none of these. Well, how come it didn't? If all of this, is because of these sexist misogynist, if that's where all of this came from, why didn't it start with The Force Awakens? Why didn't it happen until people literally saw The Last Jedi? Because if you remember back in those crazy old days, you could review bomb anything you wanted ahead of time without even seeing it. So people could have review bombed the crap out of The Last Jedi before they ever got to see it. But those reviews didn't start coming in until people saw it. You know why? Because they were excited for the next installment. They were like, The Force Awakens may not be perfect, but we got Star Wars and they're building to something here. Let's see what they're building. And we found out.
Yeah.
And it was nothing. And it wasn't just nothing. It was literally, it's like, who is in charge? Because that's what you have to look at is who's in charge. Because you had novels coming out. You had all different kinds of stuff. Look at the original marketing for Snoke. Force Awakens. Snoke is a being older than the Empire. He watched the rise and the fall of the Empire, and he's not a Sith. He doesn't have anything to do with the Sith. Oh, he's from the unknown region. Palpatine might have sensed him before his day. He might have been preparing for this great evil. Whoa. And then in the next movie, he's dead. And then the next movie, he was just actually a clone or whatever of Palpatine's. And it's like,
there's a barrel
you guys fucked up. big time, and it's very obvious. It's incredibly clear, and yet all the bullshit. And they blame the toxic fans, those damn toxic fans. And it's like, are you sure? Are you sure it's not the people that are literally that you've hired that are antagonizing the fans, the people that buy your product? Fanboy tears. How do you think that's going to go over? Yeah. I've literally told people, because it used to be in my life when people were like, what kind of gift are we going to, if there's a birthday or Christmas and a random relative's like, what are we going to get for Christmas? I'm just like, give me something Star Wars. And up until The Last Jedi, that was, I didn't really care. Just like something Star Wars, and maybe I'd like it, maybe I wouldn't, who knows, but it would be fine. After The Last Jedi, it was like nothing sequel trilogy ever, and I'd rather you just didn't do anything, because that's still supporting this new beast in some way. And frankly, I don't need anything else from them until they start doing stuff better, like The Mandalorian, which I appreciate it. Yeah. But like, I'm not going to support them while they're doing it, and not just like doing things wrong. I'd still probably support them. Like, again, if they just came up with The Last Jedi, and then when we were like, this is shit, they were like, oops, sorry, we'll try and do better. That I'd probably still be with them, but they didn't do that at all. No. They said it's you're bad. If you
they just doubled down. That's all they did, was they just doubled and tripled down on everything.
They virtue signaled hard.
Oh God. Mm-hmm. Well, blaming us, like I said, blaming us for Daisy Ridley leaving social media, Kelly Marie Tran. It's like, no.
And you see the people who are actually driving people off of social media and stuff. It's all these people. They're like, whoa, you didn't put pronouns in your Twitter profile. Fire her from the Star Wars films. It's like, hold on for a minute, for like 2, maybe a lot of minutes. Hold on.
That's why a bunch have B-boot bop in there.
I figured that out. I figured that out eventually. I still just won't put anything in there because I'm a Vase. So how dare you try and even put a gender on me?
How dare you?
I get mad enough when people call me Vase. How dare you assume how to pronounce my name? Like,
what I did when I put down pronouns, ID10T error. Now put that together and tell me what it says.
Error.
Idiot error. But put ID10T. It's something my computer maintenance teacher taught us. Said, if you do help desk, that's what you get. You get ID10T errors because it's the problem between both ears and behind the eyes. Oh, I love computer jokes.
Timothy Zahn. He wrote the Thrawn trilogy, right? Yeah. That's see, and that's another character. It's like, I would love to see them do something with Thrawn, but do I trust them? Do I trust you to handle this character right? Now, if it's now here's this post 20 was it September, October 2021, when KK's contract expires and she's out the door. What do you think the odds are of Jon Favreau being named president of Lucasfilm?
They're kind of, in my opinion, they've been setting it up for it, like him up for it. Mm-hmm. And that's like that statement that he released. Like, that wasn't just him, releasing a random statement. Like, what does he specifically talk about? He talks about most generally, and he also beautifully avoids talking directly about it. He just says, we need to be doing stuff for fans. New fans and old fans. We need to recognize that there have been people that have been here for many, many years, and they're fans of this stuff, and they're they're the driving force behind this, that have kept this community growing and whatnot for however long, and they need to be respected and heard. And we also need to create new, exciting, fresh stories, not just for those fans that they'll appreciate, but for new fans that we're going to be drawing in. And I'm like, hey, that sounds way awesome. It kind of sounds like what Robert Downey Jr. was saying about why Marvel was successful, in that they're doing it for the fans. And when you have that kind of attitude, hey, we're doing this for the people that literally buy the freaking tickets. Like, yeah, it's so surprising how that can turn out to be like amazing. How does that work? And so that statement, again, like, when did that come out?
That's not even one of customs.
Yeah, so that just comes out in direct opposition to pretty much everything Kathleen Kennedy has said. And also, what a dynamic change that would be. And I'm not just talking about gender. I'm not even talking about gender at all. But like Kathleen Kennedy to Jon Favreau. Kathleen Kennedy. Who is she? She got her start working as a camera assistant, and then kind of like a secretary and like producer. She was on like a lot of big films, so she worked her way up, and now she's like head of this company. Does she know anything about story? We now know that she does not, or how to work with directors, or how to like actually craft anything. And we've heard interviews from Steven Spielberg back in the day that said she was not useful in that capacity whatsoever. She was a hindrance, and her ideas were stupid. So, and then we have Jon Favreau. He was an actor. He's worked as a director. He's a fan of like Iron Man, and he's one of the things that started Marvel off to its success. And he actually even acted in those movies as Happy. He cares about the fans. He cares about everything. And he cares about Star Wars, which is evidenced through the work that he's done on Star Wars previously and the work that he's putting in on stuff that actually the fans, pretty much all the fans are like, yay. So like, hey, who do we go with? The chick that, divided stuff, broke story, killed Luke, like all this other like just stupid stuff. And she says such stupid stuff every time she's out in public. She says something stupid. When Solo came out, someone was like, because she just responds, she hears a question, and her having no original ideas of her, she's just like, yeah, that's what we're doing. Like on Solo, when that movie came out, she was on the red carpet. They were like, hey, are you going to make a Lando movie? And she was like, Donald Glover's popular. Yes, we are. We're working on it right now. Where did that go? What happened with that? It wasn't a thing. She just said it. It was on a red carpet.
Nobody wanted to see Don Glover bang toasters. I mean,
no, and nobody wanted that either. And that was, again, the red carpet before the movie even came out. Like before, so people are just asking their questions. She's like, oh, yeah, sure. Just like before Rise of Skywalker. How long was Palpatine a plan for this?
Yeah, that's
she's like, the whole time, way long, a very long time. Oh. And it's like, hey, let me fact check that with like, literally interviews with JJ, interviews with Ian McDermott, interviews with everyone. They're like, no, I got the call like 2 weeks ago. Daisy Ridley. They didn't even know what was going on during the making of the movie.
They didn't finish shooting that until November.
I got to cut in here for a second. Yeah. I'm all about taking stands, and I mean strong stands. Anyone can take a stand about not kicking babies in the face. We all think that's bad, okay? But listen, if Elizabeth Olsen can fuck a robot, so can Lando.
I like the hill that you're willing to die upon, sir.
This is true.
But you have to admit, Paul Bettany.
Just saying there's a gender bias here, okay?
Paul Bettany or Phoebe Waller-Bridge. I'd rather bang Paul Bettany, I'm not going to lie.
He's a vision.
He's vision.
Yes. And she was created by the Mind Stone. Lando is just a guy that was like once a suave guy that owned a city in the clouds and was hitting on chicks because why not? You're the owner of a city in the clouds, bro. Hit on a princess. Yes, of course you will. And now he's like, yeah, fuck robots. Dudes.
Yeah, man. Asteroid fields are cold.
Whatever, man.
He wears a cape, for God's sakes. He doesn't care.
That's cool. Cigarettes aren't cool. Cigarettes aren't cool, kids.
I'm Billy D. Williams. I'm Billy D. Williams. It's been a long, hard day. Why don't you lay that head down, Peter, after you had that Colt 45? I'm the cool side of the pillow. There's a Family Guy reference right there. Oh Jesus! Yeah, that's the thing. Like about Kennedy, though, like you said, she just says shit. It's like she's like a PR firm's nightmare because it's like, who let her out without her shock collar on? Like,
why did George Lucas did? Why did he put her in charge?
She kayfabed the shit out of him. She kayfabed the shit out of him.
Well, I mean, he's got to know her. Like Vase was just saying, Steven Spielberg even threw her under the bus.
Yeah,
George Lucas had to have known. So maybe
he might have
pressure from Disney.
Yeah, like that was one thing I was gonna say. Yeah. Hey, pressure from Disney. I mean, like, look, woman in charge, the woman like protagonist thing. And here's the thing. That never really bothered me. I was just like, and maybe that's what George was thinking. Like, she might be like, the head of this, but she's going to let competent directors and writers handle this, which I don't know why George would think that when he didn't do that for the prequels. Like, so it's like, why would you, when you give somebody the keys to the kingdom, all of a sudden, well, not that he gave him, he got $4 billion. So that was probably also.
Yeah, I mean, he got paid $4 billion for that. It's not like they stole it from him.
And so they did lie about their intentions, and they also bought his scripts And he even said, it's like, they bought them and they basically led me on as saying like, oh, we're going to be using these. And then they just chucked them and they chucked everything. And I think Disney was thinking that like, oh, Kathleen Kennedy, they were thinking the same thing. Like, oh, she made it this far. I mean, she can hire people. And then clearly you see like with the firings on Solo, how long did she let them make that movie before she decided like
they were 80% finished. They were 80% finished. That's insanity. And then she brought Opie in because Opie was a yes man.
If you couldn't tell before 80% of the film was shot, first of all, the filmmaking process, you don't start shooting until you have like storyboards, because these are $1 billion. Like if we are putting the best of the best. We're putting giant crews. We are putting millions of dollars into this. We have people whose only job is to care about what color everything. We have people whose only job is like a bunch of people on sets, a bunch of people on special effects, a bunch of people to make everything look as good as possible. And you're telling me with all of the prep work they did, with all of the storyboarding they did, with all of that, at no point was she like, no. She let them actually start shooting, get through 80% of the way shooting, and then that, you know why? Because she finally saw some actual footage. She decided she didn't like it. But guess what? You're so far into the game at this point. You're so far into it. You can't make decisions like that at that point.
No, and that's why I see there was an article that came out the other day, and I wanted to cover it just because of being an kind of a Ricky from Trailer Park Boys. I hate to say I fucking told her so, but I fucking told her so, because Alden Peckerwood came out and was like saying that Solo lost money I'm like, bitch, like fucking Jordan being like, bitch, like come on, man, like you got your little show Sanctuary you're on or whatever, you got another acting job, you don't need to defend this shit no more, you're not getting a sequel, motherfucker, it's not happening, nobody wants Solo 1 with you in it, and nobody damn sure wants Solo 2 with your soy boy looking ass. I was like, no, you're Alden Peckerwood, you're like Han Solo vegan version. I mean, it just doesn't work. Like, you are the fucking that watch like, man.
Made for TV shitty 80s sequel.
Yep. He looks like he's like if you said, hey, I want to get like Johnny Depp from Crybaby, and your mom's like, we have Johnny Depp from Crybaby at home, and it's fucking Alden Peckerwood. It's just like that's kind of what it looks like.
He's like when you lose your mom at the mall when you're little and you grab some lady in the same coat and she turns around.
So
Aaron, right?
So that movie, first of all, it was the first Disney movie after The Last Jedi where we could express ourselves by not going to see it. So it's that going against it because of The Last Jedi. But by itself, like people are like, the Han Solo movie.
It was boring.
It was boring. And also,
I've never been bored watching
I would have liked to see the original version, first of all, with the award-winning directors from the animated Spider-Man.
Because ask yourself, would Kathleen Kennedy like Han Solo if she met him anyway? Not to give Aaron that much credit, but it might have been a better movie. It might have been like the Rebel of the Disney Star Wars movies, you know?
But this movie was never made to, showcase Han Solo or to showcase the story or to do anything with Han Solo. The reason that this movie was put into production and made was because when Disney bought Star Wars back in like 2012, they put a poll up on Disney.com in like 2012. So before everyone associated Star Wars with Disney, this was just mostly Disney people on Disney.com, they said, who's your favorite Star Wars character? And because Harrison Ford is the most well-known and popular actor out of the original, he was top. And look, Luke was up there. Other people were up there. Don't get me wrong, but he was like the clear winner. So Disney, geniuses that they are, looked at that and said, Han Solo is everyone's favorite character. We're going to make a Han Solo movie. But the, geniuses that they are didn't realize that the only reason that he won that poll was because it was Harrison Ford's star power. And then when you make a movie based upon that star power, without that star, you're no matter what, like, I don't care who you are, that was heading for like some sort of like, it's not Harris. Like, why did you do this?
Yeah.
So they only made it for popularity in the first place. And then it got, the directors fired because Kathleen Kennedy was like, who knows? She said creative differences, but they might have not been like towing the line as far as she was concerned. So out the door they go.
I think that's what it is because Lord Miller have a great track record. They really do. Have you ever heard anybody say that they were difficult to work with, or they didn't want to compromise on anything, or they were just unbearable? No. Now you've heard how many directors has Disney fired over the years? You know what I mean? It's
right.
And well, let's talk specifically. How many directors has Lucasfilm fired? Because Disney as a whole has a pretty good track record. Yeah, like so Disney, because
Disney
that's the thing. Marvel, they hire the director they want to produce the vision they want, and everyone's in agreement. And then they hire sometimes they use, ever since Captain America 2, I think they've been using the same guy for the fight scenes because they were like, this guy does great fight scenes, and we want to have this sense of unity within our shared universe. So the fight scenes will kind of reflect each other in different movies, and that's great working together on something like that. With Star Wars, it's just like, you're not doing what I want you to do. You're out of here. And it's like, what do you even want?
Yeah.
Sorry about that, but I'm sorry. I have to go. Thank y'all for having me here.
No.
I have a few things I need to do here at home, but catch y'all on the flip side.
Thank you for coming on, Phalon, and be sure to subscribe to Phalon Reacts. The link is in the description to this video, to her channel, and I believe Vase is in there too. I'll have to check. If not, I'll edit that in, and I know Tony's is. I'm pretty sure I got both you guys in there, but subscribe to Phalon Reacts. Thank you for coming on, Phalon. I appreciate it.
Right, Phalon.
So now it's just us misogynists here, huh? Oh man, but like I said, we were talking about Solo. I've never watched a Star Wars movie and been bored, and I've sat through the Ewok Caravan of Courage, and we watched the freaking holiday special, and yeah, I've never been bored. Even, I mean, how can you be bored watching Ichibaka watch virtual reality porn? So
and here's the thing, the initial reshoots done by Ron Howard, they were like, oh, it's this much, later it came out that he reshot a bunch more of that movie, and I'm like, if you reshot so much, why is there so much that's no offense, dark and muddled and da-da-da? And then I was like, oh right, you're working on a reshooting budget, so you can't really do a bunch with sets, you can't really do a bunch, you're already hiring to get the actors and the crew and everything out, and the cameras and all the stuff out there, so it's like, okay, this scene's gonna be shot in the fog of war. This scene's going to be shot at night. Oh, this room's dark because of plot reasons. And it's like,
Can I just say, Solo could have been so much better. And one thing I have a problem with is, Ahsoka's got a lot of hate lately. Ahsoka, I guess I don't want to say hate, but I've heard a lot of, Disney puts her in everything, but it's like, Disney puts Darth Maul in everything. I went from wanting to see more of this guy to please don't put him in anything else. And had they, number one, not killed Snoke in The Last Jedi, and had they put Snoke in Darth Maul's place at the end of Solo, they could have went through with the trilogy where they could have laid an entire backstory for Han Solo and Snoke from before the Empire, which would have explained how he saw the Empire rise. It would have given so much more depth to Ben Solo turning and becoming Snoke's apprentice. They could have done so much, and it could have all culminated in a beautiful, beautiful episode 9. But they're fucking morons, and they have no vision, and they literally, people have been waiting 30 years for this, and they ate a bunch of fiber, bent over, spread their cheeks, and let it hit the wall. And that's what we got, whatever stuck. And it's fucking sad. It's like the biggest fumble. You're calling us man babies because you fumbled probably one of the biggest cinematic history.
When they resort immediately to ad hominem attacks, where it's like, any criticism of the movie means you're a bad person. You didn't even listen to what I'm saying. You just smeared me as to negate my whole argument.
It's just a reflection.
It was, and that's all that they had. They never had any actual responses to any of the fans' questions, other than, if you don't like it, it's because you're too stupid. You just don't get it. You didn't get the cinematic masterpiece of The Last Jedi. And it's like, hey, how come every single person on YouTube complaining about it is like, Me, someone who studied film, or a writer, or someone who understands plot, because Star Wars inspired people to get into those types of job because it inspired them to start storytelling or look up mythology or themes or filmmaking or how to like tell stories and how to inspire people in your own way by telling your own stories. But at the heart of it, you come back to Star Wars because, hey, that's what brought me into this. And so you understand. And then they'll just make fun of it, and they'll say, "Hey, the original trilogy. I mean, George was making it up as he went along. Luke and Leia weren't originally supposed to be sisters, and Darth Vader wasn't originally his father." And I was like, "That's true. I won't take you apart on that. But here's the difference between how they were choosing stuff for the original trilogy and how they were choosing stuff for the sequel trilogy. In the original trilogy, they were looking at the hero's journey as defined by Joseph Campbell, which is what like all Pixar and all like they teach it in film school. It's like everyone learns the basic hero's journey. That's what they were looking at. They were looking at myth. They were looking at themes from like humanity, so that they could tell how can we tell a story that will relate to everyone generally and like get the most people in. We have to follow these themes that have been in storytelling literally this entire time. This is the path that the hero goes on. This is how you learn. You go through a trial. You either learn from it or you don't. If you don't learn from it, maybe you're wearing a mask. The symbolism of the mask, Darth Vader, what's under the mask, what like the nature of power, what does it mean to be a hero? All of these themes, like what the lightsaber is, what it represents. Is it power, or does the power come from within you? Can any, like, what is a lightsaber? Oh, this weapon is your life. All of these themes, all of these things go together. They're actually important. So when they were making the original trilogy and the prequel trilogy, they were focusing very much on that. And though they might not have had like the absolute thing concrete hammered out when they were doing it, they were actually choosing things based off of something. It wasn't just Rian Johnson has self-admitted this, like he's like proud of it. He's like, yeah, we had people scouring YouTube for fan theories, so to make sure that we didn't use any of those. And it's like, here's the huge problem with that. Obviously, like I just said, Star Wars fans are writers and filmmakers and this, that, and the other thing. So when you discount stuff that these smart people have come from because they can logically see where a smart story would go, especially if you're trying to do a saga. Yeah. So it's, so we're the things that they're coming up with, some of those, not all fan theories are right or should be right, but some of them are probably logical steps that you should have taken. And you can't just throw them out the window because, well, somebody thought of it on YouTube and I want to shock everyone with my movie. Yeah. And that's all that he did. It was subversion for subversion's sake. And all that is, it's not even subversion anymore. It's just, bet you didn't see that coming. It's like, shit, dude, now you're just ruining the movie before, because that was setting stuff up, and when you took that stuff and tossed it over your shoulder or crapped on it or did whatever, guess what? Now when I go back and watch that movie, I know exactly what it's leading up to. Guess what I don't do anymore? Watch that first movie. Because why? I know what's coming next. There's no point. Yeah. So you just kill another movie, and guess what? Since it was the middle part of a trilogy, you killed the one after it because you went off in so many different directions. Oh, and guess what? Since it's ostensibly the Skywalker saga, this is the last trilogy of a three-part. If a regular movie is a three-part structure, and then a trilogy is a three-part structure, and then the trilogy of sagas is another three-part structure, you just beefed it hard in the middle of your most important, ostensibly, saga, and there's no excuse. It's obviously just Kathleen Kennedy picked the wrong person. She either this is what she wanted, and that's stupid, or she didn't control this person like she should have as the person in charge. When you can fire 15 other people 85 away through the production, apparently this is exactly what you wanted because this movie was finished early. So you can look at all these things that come together and be like, yeah, these people don't know what they're doing. We need to get rid of the people that don't know what they're doing. It's not crazy to say that. You're not a bad person. It's just looking, and it's like this person, Rian Johnson, didn't understand Star Wars. He lied about it. That's been shown. He lied about The Empire Strikes Back to sell his movie. He said people didn't like The Empire Strikes Back when it first came out. Damn it. People didn't like this. People didn't like that. And it's like Robot Head put out a great video on that. He's like, I don't know why Rian Johnson keeps trying to spread these lies, but here's the truth of it. It made $5 million compared to like other movies that like it made more than the next 4 movies combined. And then they re-released it the next year and the year after that. Now, and it was voted People's Choice. The people voted it for the People's Choice Award that year. So it's like this guy's lying all the time just to try to sell his movie. Oh, people don't like it or bad or stupid or man babies or assholes. And it's like, and that was supported by the higher ups. And so you know what that did? People were like, "Oh, why are these toxic fans out here attacking?" Well, it's because you got the troops marching at us. You painted us as these criminal, horrible people for not liking the movie, and then they just started. Anytime, well, I didn't like the movie. You piece of trash. And then it's like, wow.
It's because when he was writing his one and only draft of The Last Jedi, he had his box of crayons set up, his graham crackers and apple juice over here, and he was thinking these fucking idiots thinking about the check he was getting. That's what he was doing. He was thinking about all the fucking people in school that didn't want to associate with him. He was thinking about everyone in life and that's what it was. I mean, and yeah, everybody's seen Star Wars, everybody's seen a part or whatever, That's what it was, is there was resentment in that movie to begin with.
Oh, yeah.
J.J. Abrams was pure, just, I don't know what I'm doing. And The Force Awakens is going to age as the movie, a lot of people say it's a reboot of A New Hope. It's not even that. It was a commercial for the next movie, which ended up being not just a massive disappointment, but an insult.
And a slap in the face.
And then it's just whatever. All I could say about the last movie, I haven't seen it. All I can say is we go from what was the ending of Star Wars. You have Luke Skywalker with his friends, with his family, his father's funeral, the galaxy celebrating, to a fucking Palpatine standing alone. That's fucked up. And objectively, it's just fucking bad storytelling. And that's what happens. I mean,
I just don't think you man babies understand good filmmaking.
Yeah.
This is Disney. I mean, they gave us The Lion King. I mean,
it's
the cartoon Lion King.
The new Lion King was absolute shite.
The cartoon.
Well, that's just them trying to,
they stole the Lion King and.
Well, and the Lion King,
Lion King's Black Panther is essentially the Lion King, and Aquaman is essentially Black Panther underwater.
And the Lion King is Hamlet.
Yes,
with lions. It's very basically Hamlet, like literally king, die, uncle, dude. It's Hamlet, but with lions and some singing and stuff. Like so it's easier to watch.
Alas, poor Yorick.
But and so there are ways to but I'm not gonna go when I watch the Disney Lion King, I'm not furious because I'm like, this is just Hamlet, I'm enjoying it. I'm like, hey, they took Hamlet and managed to take that storyline and fit it into this narrative, and that's cool, good job. Even if you are ripping off that Chinese White Lion cartoon or whatever too.
Yeah,
which they were doing way more of.
Yep. I saw that and I was like, somebody did a video on that. I was like, holy shit. I'm like, I think I've seen that goddamn cartoon.
It's it's close. Even so the name is almost close, but it's like the White Lion, and there's some scenes that are just
they're like shot for shot almost.
Shot for shot.
Yeah, it was like bastards.
Yeah. But that's even the Disney stories that they were telling, like Hercules, they Disney-fied it. But again, I'm fine with that because I don't go to a Disney cartoon to get my Greek mythology or to get my history or to get my anything. I do it to be entertained.
It's entertainment. It's escape.
And it's entertainment. And it's good for kids. I think any of those movies are a bunch of them anyway, for the classic Hercules.
Oh yeah.
Hey, you want to learn more about those Greek gods and goddesses and what was really going on? Guess what? Hera didn't love Hercules all that much. She was the one sicking all that stuff on him, not Hades. But guess what? I love Hades in Hercules, so I'm definitely going to be showing my kids that movie.
I'm always thinking about when I think of Hercules, I think more the Kevin Sorbo show. Because I grew up, I'm like I said, I'm 40. So in the 90s, for me, I watched Xena and I watched Hercules, The Legendary Journeys. And those shows, man. I'm trying to think who the hell was it that played Sorbo's dad. I'm gonna look on IMDb real quick because I used to love that when he would just pop in and he's talking about what's the name, Hera being mad at him, and he's like, and just the way he played it off was just like a husband that was like, my wife's mad at me, and he just played it off like it was. I'm looking it up right now. I can't think of who it was, but damn, those were good shows. And like you're talking about the Disney stuff. The old school Disney cartoons were great. Now my kid he's kind of like, he's 5. He doesn't really watch as much, like he was watching the Disney Channel, like the cartoons on there, like Mickey Mouse and all that, like up to about like, I don't, now he knows how to use Netflix, and now it's like Ninjago and all that. Like he doesn't watch PJ Masks anymore. He's watching Ninjago, and he's watching the old Sonic. I swear to God, I've seen every freaking, you know how many Power Rangers fucking shows there are? You have any concept of how many shitty fucking Power Rangers? Oh my God. Like,
I watched like the original one when I was a kid, but I know there's like Ninja, Dinosaur, Cosmic, Starbound. They just kept coming out with them.
They're fucking like, and most of them are just god awful, terrible. Like I've seen, there's one or two seasons of Power Rangers Beast Morphers, which I will say it's compared to some of the other ones, it is pretty entertaining. It has a decent cast, that it's still kind of wonky. Like I think
any of the chicks bangable.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they're all over 20. I looked.
Okay.
I had to make sure. I was like, 'cause we're watching that. I'm like,
bringing the laptop to the bathroom. Like, I'll be back, son.
Your phones and tablets. He's watching on the big screen. I'm like, am I going Epstein right now? I'm like, no. Okay, I'm good. I'm good. As I say that, I'm about to become a substitute teacher. No, there goes that fucking career. But no. Yeah, there is some just horrible iterations of that show. Let's see, wait, Hercules. We're looking for Hercules, the legendary journey.
I really think they had something with Lord Zed, and I don't think they've used him to his full potential. He could have been one of the greatest villains in just like TV history. I mean, he was great.
I think he was so creepy looking.
Yeah.
Like, and that was really the goal. Like, I remember when I watched Power Rangers, it was like Green Ranger was dope. Like, where'd that guy come from? And with the Godzilla flute dagger. Then he turned to the White Ranger. I'm not gonna lie, that guy was cool, but I was like, that's not as cool as Godzilla. Even though he's like, they're like, he's more powerful. He can beat more people now. If you can even believe that. But I was like, Green Ranger is cool.
It was so depressing when he lost his power with that candle and shit, man. And then I remember they debuted the new season of Power Rangers in primetime on like a Friday night at 8:00, and Lord Zed came down. I mean, that's when it felt like the show got serious. Like, hell yeah. And he was badass, but it just never, I think he deserved more than a season or two. I think he had a season alone, then one with Rita, something like that. But the Machine Empire after that, they just didn't compare to. They were a little goofy, and it was like, man, you had Lord Zed. He was badass. And they kind of just turned him into a joke, lost in space with Rita or whatever. It's like,
and
made them like the odd couple. It's like,
while we're talking about Power Rangers, the 2017 movie was way fucking better than people give it credit for.
I never saw it. Should I watch it?
You know what? It is really fucking solid. Like, I'm talking like there were some moments that movie was like, God damn, this hits me in the feels, man. And I'm not even like a big. I was kind of older, like when Power Rangers came, was like 95, I think it started or something like that. I was 15. I was playing football. But honestly, like me and a couple of my boys that we would play ball, we still after practice would go home and watch our recorded copies of like Gundam Wing and shit like that, because we would take, after school, that would be like, we go to football practice, go grab something to eat, go back to the boys' house, get high, and watch Gundam Wing. That was like what we did. And I mean, I was still like, I'm 40 and I'm still doing that. But no, it's like there's some of that shit that like, it doesn't, it affects you differently. And I don't know, some of this, we were talking like nostalgia and things like that. And it's like, I don't know, man. I'm having trouble. What the fuck was Hercules? It was his dad's name.
Zeus.
Zeus, yeah. I'm not fine. I swear to God, they had Zeus in the show, and I'm not seeing. There's Odin.
Didn't know you had a famous father, did you?
Where the fuck? There's Zeus. Roy Dotrice. Well, he was only in 3 episodes. Well, shit.
Show's about Hercules, not. Hercules dead.
Yeah, I mean, but he'd pop in a couple of times here. I was like, I thought it was more than 3 fucking episodes, though. It's been a minute since I've seen the show, honestly, though. But that'd be one of somebody send me that shit. There you go. There's Christmas ideas right there. Send me yeah, that'll be all right. Hercules, the fucking legendary journeys. You know, there was how many seasons that show was there? I gotta look this up. I'm stoned and I'm fucking rambling right now, but let me think.
Hold on, let's take a guess. 6.
Let's see.
6
Xena start after Hercules?
You said 6?
Yeah, I think.
There was 5.
Fuck.
That was close. You went over though. So.
Yeah. Yeah, this was a showcase showdown. Vase takes it. Oh, I'm sorry, Tony, you went over. That means Vase, you're the winner.
Yeah.
And wait, Tony, we have the prize for you. Wait, where's it at? Let's see. Here we go, right here.
That is why you fail.
Stupid! You're so stupid!
a wheel of fish.
Wheel of fish. I fucking love that movie. We've all you've seen that, right? Has everybody seen UHF? Tony, were you on the watch party when we watched that on here?
Man, I wanted to be. I was listening.
You were working that night. Yeah, because we did UHF for a watch party on here. And that I fucking, the watch parties don't get a lot of views, but I have fun watching some of those movies. Like that was one we did that one. I think we did Empire Strikes Back too.
Nice. Should do Boondock Saints sometime.
No,
I'm not a Boondock Saints fan. I watched the first one. I was just like, it's a movie. I don't know. It's
Willem Dafoe.
I know it does. It's got a great cast too. I'm trying to think how long ago it was I've seen it though. I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to rewatching it, honestly.
Some of my favorite quotes come from that. Well, and it's not even from that, but it's just like, that's where I know it from. Like, why don't you make like a tree and get the fuck out of here?
See, when I hear that, I always think of fucking Biff from I go back to the Future for that one.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, you talking Kevin Sorbo, Hercules? Never heard of it. Don't you lie to me. Don't you lie to me. Seriously, like every kid in the 90s developed a lesbian fetish because of Xena and fucking her little cohort. I can't remember. Yeah, yep. That sexy
Gabrielle was fucking hot, man.
She was. And you know what's funny is Lucy Lawless still looks absolutely gorgeous.
She was Ron Swanson's
Parks and Rec. That's where I was going.
That's so perfect too, because like, what woman could be perfect for Ron Swanson? Xena, warrior princess.
She tamed Ron Swanson finally.
Yes.
None of the Tammies could do it.
Yeah, dude, and she's so fun. One of the things I love. That's a great show, by the way.
Oh, Parks and Rec, absolutely.
I love it. And like when they finally get married, and they're like, "Your name's for the record," and he like says his name, and she goes, "Whatever, Tammy," and like says Tammy's her middle name, and Ron's just like, "What the?" And she's like, "Gotcha."
Oh, it's the little Sebastian fucking the little Sebastian fucking, like, what do you say, like, was it like 10,000 candles in the wind?
What's 5,000 times better than a candle in the wind? 5,000 candles in the wind.
Oh, fucking
bye, little Sebastian.
Chris Pratt was so fucking like great in that role as Andy Dwyer. Like, I mean, and he even said afterwards, like, he's like, yeah, they told me to like fatten myself up for that. You know what I mean? It was like, yeah, because when he came out on as like Star-Lord and shit, and like Jurassic World, he was like, this motherfucker's like all cut up, like he's taking pictures of himself in the mirror, and this motherfucker's got a 6-pack. I'm like, that ain't Andy Dwyer. You know, I mean, the Jurassic World movies are Jurassic World movies are shite. They are. The first one is barely passable.
Like the Force Awakens of Jurassic Park.
Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom is The Last Jedi. That is like, that movie is just like, you get angry within like.
See it, but I like someone that did see it, like told me stuff about it. Is my cousin, and she like doesn't normally get into movie like or this is not normally something we talk about. She's a big like Jurassic Park fan. That's one thing she's a big fan. So she would see it. She's just telling me, she's like, you don't even know. Don't ever go see this movie because the stupidest bullshit, the most unbelievable bullcrap. It's not even Jurassic Park anymore. It's just like it's bullcrap.
The girl's a little fucking clone. John, the guy, the main guy is like John Hammond's like super secret partner. Like the end of that movie where she's like, I had to. They're like me. I'm like, I will punch a fucking child.
Yeah. I don't think you understand how DNA works. Just because you're a clone and the dinosaurs are cloned doesn't mean that like, we feel things for each other because we both know we're clones. No, it's a clone of bloodthirsty animals that will murder you because you're its prey. It's not like, oh, you're a clone too. That's like being an orphan and finding out the world. It's like, oh, let's do a parent trap together. Like, what the? No, get out of here.
No, she is. She's like a little dinosaur Greta Thunberg runner. It's horrible.
Weird. It's like we need to stand up for the rights of these, monsters.
Yeah, the rights of these fucking things that were cloned from mosquito DNA in a fucking lab like 20 years ago.
That's killed hundreds.
Yeah, how many deaths are they responsible for over the last couple of decades? And people are like, nah, it'll be fine.
It'll be fine.
Save them. They have a whole organization built, precipitated on saving these fucking dinosaurs. I'm like,
despite like the events of the first 3 movies, we open on Jurassic Kingdom. Nah, it'll be fine. Where the corporations are just like, hey, remember how we've got a handle on this dinosaur thing? They couldn't handle it before, but we've got it. Now we're creating monsters.
Who keeps funding them?
Isn't this just Rise of the Planet of the Apes with dinosaurs?
At what point do you get out of the red with this thing? Because you know how much you have to invest into, first of all, creating the dinosaurs. That alone. Then an amusement park. And like all of that's all before like people start going. And they've already failed once.
Yeah. Hammond never even got it open.
Yeah, and InGen then like went there, and then they were like, "Oh, it's impractical." That was the whole second movie. It's stupid to try and open this thing on an island. We're gonna come here and open a zoo in San Francisco, and then that goes terribly wrong. And the general idea after that, the focus of the third one isn't even about opening a park or whatever. Like that's not what they're. It's like some kid got lost on the island because like blah 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 blah, and they have to go back and save the kid. But no one in the third movie is like, you know what we should be doing? Trying to reopen that park that's failed horrifyingly like bad twice. And so like somehow past all of that, someone was like, you know what we should do? Open that park that like failed horrifyingly twice. And so how long has this park been open in the first one before everything goes like crazy? Yeah. And it's literally just the plot of like the first movie and the second, except like they actually had already opened. That's the only difference. Yep. They have opened the park. That's the difference between Jurassic Park and Jurassic World.
Hey, we need a pilot. We've already got one. Settle down, Simon Maserati. Dude, and Jake Johnson was the best part of like that movie. Like seriously, I want to see him play live. I want to see him play live action Spider-Man. He did a hell of a job into the Spider-Verse. I could.
I think that would be hilarious.
I think it'd be fucking great. Fuck it.
He's also an amazing actor and hilarious, and also, I mean,
he was good in Stumptown with my ex-wife Colby Smulders.
My ex-wife.
Yeah.
He, and I first saw him in New Girl, and that's a show that I also enjoy it. It gets kind of weird sometimes, but I mean, like, he's hilarious. The interactions between the roommates are hilarious. And you can watch it just for his facial expressions. Like some of the things that like he does with his face are just absolutely freaking hilarious to me.
And that show actually has the former almost Mr. Brie Larson. What's his name? Max Greenfeld.
Was he almost the Mr. Brie Larson?
Yeah, he was.
I didn't know that.
She was engaged to him for a while, and then he must have turned 40, and he's a white guy, so she was like, "Fuck this shit, I'm out."
He's also hilarious on that show, but I haven't that's the thing. I don't know him from anything else. Like I know Jake Johnson. I've seen him in like independent films, and there's one where he like worked in a brewery, which was a great movie. Drinking Buddies was it? Okay. That was like.
I was gonna say Max Greenfield is in that show with Cedric Entertainer, The Neighborhood or whatever now, where he's the awkward white neighbor, and all that stuff.
I kind of felt bad for him when I saw the trailer for that because I was like, "Hey, New Girl is ending. I won't be seeing this character." They're like, I look for different shows that they're going to be, or like, are they going into movies, or like, so I try and say like, maybe I'll like this show. I saw that show and I was like, oh.
I haven't watched it. I know I have. I do have a. I have a. Oh, I'm sure. I have a thing for what's her name there. That plays his wife in that, Beth Baer. She was on.
Oh yeah.
What the hell was that? With Kat Dennings. Broke girls.
Two broke girls. Oh,
I liked her. They were funny. Not only is she hot as hell, but she's funny. Like she is legit funny. I dig her style. I think she seems like a cool chicken. Like I said, that show was set. That just kind of looks like, man. I used to love Cedric the Entertainer's comedy.
Me too. But didn't the show strike you as more like sitcom, like stationary camera and like one, or like a room with, I don't know, like, because
what, Two Broke Girls?
No, the new one with Cedric the Entertainer.
I haven't watched it. I honestly did. I've seen a couple clips and previews, but I never watched the show.
It just seemed like lower production value, though.
Did it?
Even from what I like, then like say a show like New Girl.
Uh-huh.
It was like New Girl. They went different places, it wasn't, but like this is just like, honey, I'm home. Oh, whatever happens in our family room, kind of.
It's kind of like Roseanne then, and that.
Yeah. And
okay.
Not that there's, not a place for that.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Yep. It's a Seinfeld-esque thing. They're always in one of the apartments, or,
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
One of their apartments or the cafe.
Yep. There's limited sets there. I like what they did with the parking garage episode, how they used all the mirrors to make it look bigger, which is actually pretty freaking brilliant.
Yep. All the tricks.
Practical effects, man. Practical effects. It's a lost art these days.
It's the only kind we had.
Hey, honestly, I appreciate that shit so much more now. Being that it was more practical effects like growing up in the 80s in movies. I mean, you had early on like CG and stuff like that, but I mean, I remember watching the reruns of Space 1999, and it was basically like watching the spaceship fly away was like me doing this with Slave One, just going woo. I mean, that's basically what Space 1999 looked like, if anybody's seen that with Martin Landau.
Ooh.
But that's on the that's on the Pluto network. Yeah, I bought that vintage Slave One for like $25 on eBay.
Hey, Boba, nice ship. Not a huge fan of the name though.
It's missing the it's missing the damn carbonite guy in the thing in the ramp, but it was $25. I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna buy it.
Carbonite in the rear.
Yep.
Put him in the cargo hold. No, in the cargo hold. Well, yeah, okay, Boba.
Hope you got a big trunk. I'm putting my carbonite in it.
And then in like the Mandalorian, it's like we just do that all the time.
Yeah.
Although, actually bring that up because that was one of my complaints at first.
You need to watch that show. He hasn't seen it yet. Have you, Tony?
Oh, then I'm not going to say anything else.
Which show is it?
Mandalorian.
Even though that's such a minor part of it. You haven't seen The Mandalorian?
I don't care about spoil. Like,
Okay.
Me and Star Wars broke up.
I know what you mean.
What kind of breakup is it? Is it like a fucking you're gonna call at 2 a.m. and go back to a breakup, or is it like restraining order?
It's until you're back on your bipolar medication. I've just got to go my own way. So once you decide what direction you want to go with your life, we might meet in a park one day or have a cup of tea or something, but that's about it.
And then start
again on my own.
Can I say, because I was thinking earlier, it was more than just insulting or a bad movie when I was watching The Last Jedi in the theater. Absolutely. In my gut, it was knowing that a year before Carrie Fisher died, and that was it. I mean, that was really it. I mean, you're not going to get... That was the sequel trilogy that I've been waiting my entire life for, and that's what it was more than just this movie sucks. It was 3 decades of just stamped out like a cigarette butt. just that easily, and it's
And I was like, at that point, I was like, I've been busting my ass as a fan for 4 years. Where's my fucking tickets to Galaxy's Edge? Oh wait, that was Christian Harloff. Never mind.
Yeah, no, sure. I didn't bust my ass to be a fan.
It's like you
busted my ass to get home to be a fan. Like,
yeah, I do. Like I said, and I've told you this, Tony. I remember sitting there in the theater because one of my coworkers like, "Hey man, I got tickets. Let's go see Last Jedi. I know you're a Star Wars fan." I'm like, "All right, man, cool." I was like, I hadn't seen Force Awakens at that point. I hadn't seen it yet. I didn't go to the theater. I'm like, I'm not even gonna go. I'm like, I saw the trailer for it, and I was just like, I really don't need this. I saw Rogue One though, and I liked Rogue One, so I'm like, okay. I'm like, Rogue One was, even though Felicity, Felicity Jones is like as vanilla as it gets, and Cassian Andor's Diego Luna. Diego Luna, is that who plays Cassian Andor?
Yeah.
He's a good actor, but his character in that was just kind of But overall, I like the tone of the movie, other than the fact that the scene on I can't remember. I can't remember the planet's name offhand, but where Sheridan Imwe killed all the stormtroopers, like with his, I'm just like, it was almost as bad for me as the scene in The Mandalorian where the two scout troopers are shooting at the can. And it gets real fucking meta when it's like Jason Sudeikis, and I can't think of who the other one was, but they're like 5 feet away from it and they can't hit it. I was like, motherfucker, look, we get it. They're bad shots. But what you just, and it was Taika Waititi that directed that. And I hold him responsible for that. I'm like, you fucking asshole.
And that's a classic blunder, not to mention everything that you just said, and I totally agree with you. And by itself, that would have been bad enough. Like you're breaking the fourth wall with that stuff, and that's not what Star Wars is about. Stop it. We're here experience it. But beyond that, I know
so sick of that shit.
That was the beginning of that episode, but literally the very end of the previous episode was the smoldering corpse of I have spoken, Mr. Ugnaught, that they blasted down accurately enough to kill him and leave him a smoldering corpse. 5 minutes later, boop, boop, we can't hit anything except for that guy we just murdered. Remember that guy?
And they're shaking their blasters. Like, I'm like,
it's and that's the sort of thing. That's the sort of bullcrap stuff that like you see sometimes, and that pulls you out of it. That pulls you out of the story. That pulls you out of what you're doing. And that was, I don't even want to go into what I was about to talk about.
It is like I said in Rogue One, that scene where Sheridan Imwe, he takes out like 30 stormtroopers at once. I'm like, he doesn't even have the Force
with a stick.
Yeah, I'm like, come on, man. Like I know they're inept for the most part, but at the same time, it's like, so they're literally no threat. They're like putties in Power Rangers. They're like no threat to anything. Like,
and I think they were trying to like show his skills and abilities and maybe show that he has some sort of connection with the Force, but at the same time they did that at the expense of stormtroopers being an actual threat.
Yeah, they're
like
just
either threatening, or a blind guy can kill a bunch of them and incapacitate them with a stick. Again, what does that armor do? They get shot and they go down. They get hit with a stick, they go down. What does it protect you against?
With a rock, they go down.
What you guys are describing is the kinks in the armor right now. This is Disney. They have a bag of cocaine. They're like, come on, baby, I'm sorry. Come back. We'll do a couple lines. We'll watch Natural Born Killers, have a few beers. But then, like, they snap at you a little bit after that second beer, and that's what the stormtrooper shooting at the can is, That's all I'm saying,
That's Taika Waititi, though, man.
Mandalorian's a big bag of coke, but what's going to be there at 7:30 a.m. That's all I'm saying.
A lot of anger.
I was like, he directed that, and I'm fine with him directing sometime. I kind of like his style in different places. Like, I'm not like mad at the guy like I am like Rian Johnson.
Yeah,
he definitely gets carried away. And also, why did they have to use him for every voice of every droid, of every make, of every model? They all start to sound like fucking Taika Waititi. I'm tired of. Not every droid should sound exactly like him.
Can we have more
one was like?
Can we have more Alan Tudyk than
That's weird to me.
Yeah,
it doesn't like.
You know what's racist? There aren't any black sounding bots.
Man,
Yeah.
hey,
at all.
Watch Blue Hobbit. I was R2D2, man.
Like R2D2.
You still got that bag. It's going to be a long flight.
Hold on to this. Oh, it's so good. You're better at than I am.
I want to. You know what they should have done was they should have made one of those black droids on Starkiller base. Have some have a little bit of a
have some bass in his beats,
boys. Yeah, bass in his beats. Yeah, things like you see BB-8's like beep beep beep. The fucking little black fucking Starkiller.
It's got a subwoofer in it. Just
a subwoofer. It's got 2 Rockford Fosgate Punch 12. They're L7. This got L7, not L337, but L7 kickers. The fucking square subs. It's rolling down the deck. What the fuck is that Roomba doing?
DJ Roomba.
DJ Roomba, yep. Fucking, that's a nice Parks and Rec callback right there. Tommy Haverford. Entertainment 720. Fucking John Ralphio. Sonic the Hedgehog.
I got my money the old-fashioned way. I got run over by Alexa.
And fucking Mona Lisa was like oh my god, I love it that the font was their dad. That was like the best.
Hey, I remember that Flare X when Hammond was eating in the books. By the way, I remember the Lost World Jurassic Park 2. That shit disappointed me because I liked the movie so much that I went back and I read the books and heard about Hammond. I think the little dinosaurs, I don't remember the name of them, but they like flocked him and ate him. And I'm like, all right, that's cool. You know, that's different than the movie. But damn, that second book disappointed me. The movie was bad, but the book was disappointing too. Like,
and I enjoyed the movie partially because I was a kid, and also partially because like it was still that like at that time you didn't get so many movies as we do now that it's just like they had spectacle like that. You know. Like that was still a spectacle, and you know they went overboard. But like some of my favorite parts, and like I know it's bad. It's one of those things where like you grow up and like looking back, it's like I'm aware that this is not like peak art or like even peak cinema or anything like that. But something about this just stuck with me, and I love it. Like when the trailer's dangling off the edge.
Yeah.
And they're like, and also here's the thing that I always forget is what's his name is in that. Oh my god!
Oh, Vince Vaughn. Yeah,
God, yes, Vince Vaughn is in that movie. Every time I start.
It just mirrored a Vase freeze.
Hey, that's a meme right there.
That is.
That's a meme.
Hang on, I gotta get that before he
comes back.
Yep. There we go. I got a picture I can work with now. Oh, he's getting a Leo face put on him.
Oh.
That right there is a perfect Leo face. I'm gonna tweet that to him. Oh man, that is like a perfect like.
When you find out Vince Vaughn's in the sequel.
Finding out Vince Vaughn's in the sequel to Jurassic Park, because that was the Lost World he was in. That's fucking funny. Goddamn. He hit the freeze like right at the end too.
I'm sure they threw millions at Crichton to write it, because I was gonna say, and there never was another book after that too. I was gonna say he wrote Jurassic Park. I don't know how long the book was out, but I mean that movie wasn't long after, and I mean I think The Lost World came out not long after the first book, maybe a year or something. I remember I was in 9th grade when I finally read The Lost World, and it was just like I kind of wanted Dr. Grant in it, and he wasn't. Like I like Dr. Malcolm, but they played well together, you know. And it was just a little different, you know. Maybe I was a little too young for it too, but you know, even now when I watch, it's like I'll watch The Lost World and it doesn't stick with me like Jurassic Park does.
Yeah.
The ripples and
I'm the same way with it. See, I like Sam Neill, man. He's a hell, and he's coming back for this Dominion one, which I haven't done a video on in a while. I might actually do a Jurassic
Rise of the Planet of the Apes, you mean?
Yeah. That's basically, like I said, that's basically what they're doing. And I haven't seen, they had a short, I think it's like an Amazon Prime exclusive one or something. It's called The Battle of Big Rock. And I think that was about some dinosaurs, like some shit like that. I'm not sure what.
See that.
Yeah, it's like a 15-minute deal or something, but
it's for Jurassic Park.
Yeah, it's like Jurassic World.
I'll have to look that up because my wife's a huge fan. I've seen Jurassic World 2 a few. I was gonna say, unlike The Last Jedi, Jurassic World 2 gets a little better, you know, after a few times, but I get it. I was in the theater like, what the fuck?
See, my son loves that movie, and I feel bad because I think I kind of ruined it for him, because like every time he'd watch it, I'm like, fuck this movie. Like I'm like sitting there just pointing out garbage in it, you know what I mean? But it's just like I couldn't take, like Sal said earlier, it's all right until they leave the island. I just like, I didn't buy, I there's a lot of it, like I was just like, oh my god, dude, this is terrible. There he is. You left us with a perfect meme image. So
let me just get this out real quick. Every time we watch Jurassic World 2, my wife fast forwards through the Brachiosaurus drowning, and I'm like, this is the only good part of the movie.
Yeah,
it's
dude,
bad, but it's the only good part. Like, can we quit fast forwarding through it to the retarded velociraptor? Like
the retarded velociraptor. The goddamn velociraptor sitting there, and all of Zach Galifianakis.
I also laser pointer, like it's stupid. Like
I just did a reaction video on Doug Stanhope, and he talks about mentally challenged versus like mentally disabled, and it's just one of the.
I'm gonna check that. I saw you did it, and I used to watch a lot of Doug Stanhope's comedy years ago. I'm gonna have to check that out, because he was on the Man Show for a minute. I want to say, wasn't he? Wasn't he on the Man?
Possibly.
Yeah, he was.
I think he
Joe
was.
Rogan and Doug Stanhope, I believe. Yep. Once Adam and Jimmy left.
Yeah. See, I used to watch when Adam and Jimmy were on there.
Leading into the Super Mario Brothers movie, Jurassic World Dominion.
The live action.
Yeah, because they were all dinosaurs and fucking.
Yeah, so, the Koopas. My god, what a.
Maybe these are the prequels. You know, we deserved 6 prequels to the Super Mario Brothers movie.
The fucking.
That's why I didn't appreciate them.
Dominion's coming. That's still coming out next year too. That's going to be released in June.
Yes.
I am probably going to go see that one. Honestly, I'll take the boy to go see it. He like I said, man, as shitty as they are, and I, like I said, I feel bad because I think I ruined Fallen Kingdom for him, because like I said, every time he put it on, I was like, fuck this movie. Not exactly those words in front of my 4-year-old. Well, he was 4 at the time, 3-4 at the time, but no, I took him to the theater because they re-released Jurassic Park at the theater down the road from my house. So I took him, and I had the same theater like I saw when it first debuted. I was 13 when it came out, but I took him to see him. He wasn't even 5. He was 5, and I was kind of worried. He got a little freaked out by the T-Rex, but it was great getting to sit there in the theater and watch it.
The theater's a totally different experience.
It is. Dude, the T-Rex is fucking massive. You know what I mean? So
I do remember as a kid, we had like the box of VHSs that were like the good movies, because we had like the Disney movies, but then we had the VHS and there was like Jurassic Park 2, Twister, Independence Day, Men in Black, and I was like, these are the. And I remember one day, my mom tells this story sometimes. She's like, there's one day I walked in and I have an older brother, a younger brother, and then my sister's the youngest. She's like, the boys are just sitting on the couch. Katie's in her playpen, standing up, watching a dinosaur murder someone, and she's just going like this. And I'm like, because that's how you properly raise kids.
I had my son watching Walking Dead when he was like 2. Like literally right before bedtime, like he's having those little jumper things, you sit in. And me and my wife were sitting there, and it was before the episode started. The new episode would start at 9. We were putting the boy to bed, and we're watching like the previous ones. We had DVR, and we're sitting there watching them, and he's like drinking his bottle before bed, like bouncing them down, watching like people kill zombies and walkers eat people, and I'm just like. But then again, he sat through Halloween 4 without even getting freaked out too. we watched it on AMC together because I was like, I'll watch it on AMC with you because they take, you know, some of the stuff out.
Yeah.
So he sat there and he watched the whole thing and he wasn't scared of it. All he wanted to do was listen to the Halloween theme song in the truck on repeat. Taking him to preschool, taking him to daycare and shit. Dad, put the Halloween song on. Hail Greg Levitri, thank you for showing up, man. You came in right at the tail end here as we're getting ready for the go home. But yeah, dude, I watched Nightmare on Elm Street and Friday the 13th and shit as a kid, like the show, you know. So it's I had older cousins and they started, you know, they're a couple years older than me and they started me watching that shit. So oh man, just listen to the playback, bro. This turned into this is a really good episode. So yeah, for Wednesday nights here on the channel is kind of like a hidden gem. And for those of you wondering, the boardroom will be someday making a return. We're working on things, so yeah, we're working on that too behind the scenes. But until then, you're always going to get Wednesday going in Raw Wednesday. And let me thank my panelists for being here. Tony, thank you, sir.
Yeah, definitely.
You got a video coming out soon, don't you? You haven't done it. You kind of had to pull the Dickie suit out from under the bed, like the roll call video, Lil Jon Ice Cube back in the day, and start making videos again.
Yeah. I got a little something in the works. I'm probably announce something next week, I think.
Excellent.
Definitely.
Thank you. And Vase, thank you, sir. What you got? You do your reactions. Tell the people where they can find you.
Oh, you can find me at It's a Vase Productions, and everything now that I do on that channel is pretty much just comedy reaction videos, and sometimes some like Disney Star Wars memes. I used to make those when I was first learning the stuff, like in film school and learning how to use the stuff. I was like, oh, cool, I can make motion memes, and so I put some of those up every now and again. I just showed you one.
I've got it. I got to download it and bring it up on StreamYard. It's in my Google Drive right now. Yep.
If anyone's familiar with the Boondock Saints too, there's I'll just say it because it's going in Raw. There's a line where the Yakavetta like nephew goes, "Oh God, what does he say?" He's like, "They prison fucked us. Those sons of bitches prison fucked us, and then they wiped their dicks on our grandmother's graves." And that's basically what they did with the sequel trilogy. So
that's a good way. That's a good way to take it home, right?
We have fun.
The link to the God damn it.
Yes, every single thing I say offends them.
Who are you calling them?
We have fun here, man. So be sure to come back. There'll be a video up tomorrow. Like I said, I'm not sure. I might do a Jurassic World Dominion video. I also got some thoughts on this rumored Michael B. Jordan Scarface situation, which I'll be proud. That might be the video I do tomorrow because I have my office is there's a lot of Scarface up in here, and I've seen that movie like 100 times, and I'm not even joking. That was like back when I was with my ex, what I call Satan. My Sunday routine was to get really stoned and just watch Scarface like twice. So yeah, but anyway, that was another life. I'm Etepo Kuina, the place to be reviews. I've been here with all the yous. Hey, if you're not subscribed yet, hit the button. Just hit the button. Just do it. It's free. It always will be. Be sure to bitch slap that like button for me. And if I don't see you, have yourselves a great day and a pleasant